This
Sean
conference will now be recorded.
I think Sean will join us here at some point, but I'll go ahead and open the meeting. Design Review Board, August 5th, 2020 at 5:30 p.m. Now open and go to meeting. We'll have a roll call. Peter Gaffer.
Present.
Stephen Green is excused. Yvette Ponte.
Present.
Frank Davis, I'm here. Ben Lepley.
Here.
And I think Sean will join us shortly, I hope. I know he's planning on it. The staff would like to inform.
Leslie is letting me know that she didn't get a link.
Okay.
Oh, it's in the PDF. The link's in the PDF now. Before it used to be in the email.
Oh, okay. I'll let her know.
Yeah. It's on the first page
that's where
of the
it
PDF.
is. Yeah, you just type it in. All right, the staff would like to inform all applicants that the applications on this DRB agenda will require a building permit or a sign permit. That Design Review Board approval does not necessarily reflect the views and policies of the State Historic Preservation Office, which controls decisions impacting tax status of designated contributing historic properties. Please review SHPO's policies. If necessary, contact them directly before making any exterior changes to your property. Nothing on the call of the public, right, Teresa?
No, I do not have anything.
Yeah, right. Okay, so first we'll go to our agenda item 1. Application 2055, Bisbee Residential Historic District, contributing property located at 19B Clausen. The application is seeking approval to remove an old addition single pitch roof shed on the east side of the original home and in its place build a rear porch. Richie, you want to speak to that, please?
Turn on your mic.
Basically, the original house was built in. My mic should be on.
Yeah, there's just a delay. It's fine.
Okay. The original house, I was told, was built in 1890s, and they put an addition sometime in the 19th century. The 20th century. It was from an old house in Jiggerville. It was eaten up by the pit, and in my opinion, it doesn't really fit with the original house. It has an odd roof break, and I would like to return it to the original design and the original layout.
Yes.
Okay, any comments from the board? Questions for Richie?
I have a couple of questions. So Richard, it's a really interesting property and project. I was over there yesterday. And I'm curious as to what you plan to do with the south side of the property and what you would plan to do with the electrical and the plumbing, where the break would actually occur. On the north side of the property, there's a clear line where the electrical and the plumbing connect. And so I'm not quite sure exactly where you would start to take down the addition and how would you work with the plumbing. And there's also some beautiful windows there, as well as some wood, I think, that's salvageable.
I'm going to try to keep all the wood I can. Keep the lap board, I guess you would call it. The addition that I'm removing is the pitched roof on the east side, exactly, and it has a sharp corner to it, kind of like that. It's kind of an elbow sticking out on either end, on the south and the north side. So that will be removed. And then the original pitched roof on the east side is underneath that still. If you look up in the attic space, it's still there. So it would just be keeping that and then adding a back porch to it. Now on the south side, I'm assuming that is the old porch that's been closed in. So I would like to open that up again and have an actual front porch on the south side.
Okay, so it's kind of like the first phase of a couple of different things that you're probably going to do with the property.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. I'm going to try to make it, get it to its original historic look. Now, as far as the plumbing and electric, that's all going to have to be taken out and put in new. Because it's, as you probably saw, the water main is above ground and it's like 6 feet in the air. So I'm going to get it underground so it doesn't freeze.
Right, because you've got a large window right before the cutoff point, I think. I'm trying to picture on the north side where the large window ends. I think it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 9 light window on the north side, and where the addition begins. Not really clear. I don't know if anybody has comments or saw the
window ends.
Yeah.
Approximately like the large, like 2 feet from the new addition that's going to be removed. So it's not going to affect that large window.
Okay.
Yeah, I think the large window is a steel casement window, which actually, you know, it's been there forever. It's kind of fits the house, even though it's probably from the 50s. Yeah, I'm actually, every time I get up, I can get up and actually look at that side of the house because I live right across the street. Yeah, I think it's I think Richie's doing a good service to the building. This is actually the exact same thing I'm still halfway through with my house, is taking off the 1950s and newer additions to kind of bring back the original core. And I think it also saves up somebody who's trying to fix up a house. It greatly reduces the amount of square footage you actually have to restore. And it kind of returns the house back to its historic originality, which I think is a good idea. I think saving that teardrop siding is definitely a good idea. So I agree with Yvette on all of that. So. And, you know, I would say any chance you have to reincorporate old building materials back into the house, you know, I would definitely favor that.
So, Richard, you're substantially reducing the overall footprint, and you're creating sort of some garden or yard space in front of the proposed new porch, right?
Correct.
Yes. No,
I'll just point one thing out. The teardrop siding on the addition that's going to be removed, I'm going to save all that and use it to fill in.
Good.
So I have a picture. I just wanted to ask about where the division really starts. Just trying to pull that up. I found that. Okay. I don't know if you guys can see this. Well, probably not very well on the phone, but.
Yeah, I can see it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So are you tearing everything out on the north side just to understand where you're working from the window forward where the blue paint starts, or? Okay, so let's see.
You see
That's a
the
big window.
I
Yeah.
understand how this area is impacted here, where the blue paint, where the, I think it's a white or a green color meets the blue. The blue looks like it's the start of the addition, correct?
Okay, you see the vertical board that runs perpendicular all the lap siding?
Mm-hmm.
It's to the right of the electrical meter, I think.
Right.
No,
Everything,
it's to the left.
okay.
Oh, to the left.
You see that vertical
To
board?
the east, I guess, of the electrical meter, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
To the
Okay.
left of the electric meter, there's a vertical board. And that's approximately where it will be removed. From there to the east.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Sure.
Any other questions for Richie?
Richie, on the new porch roof, I assume you're going to use corrugated metal to match the old, or
Correct.
okay. Um,
Well, it sounds like you're doing a good thing there, Richie. Would someone like to make a motion?
Yeah, I'm happy to make a motion. Application number 20-55. Motion to approve as presented.
I'll second that.
Okay, motion's been made and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
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 Aye. All opposed? Nay. Say nay. Okay, it's passed. You're good to go, Richie.
Thanks, guys. I appreciate it.
Okay, thank you.
I'm
All
gonna
right,
hang up,
well,
I guess. Bye.
Yep. Good luck.
Take care.
Okay.
See ya.
We'll move on to
Thanks.
agenda item 2, application 20-58. Bisbee Residential Historic District, property located at 101B OK Street. The structure was on the property originally was destroyed by fire. Applicant Robert Dayton, Representative Ben Lepley.
Yeah, so I guess I'll recuse myself on this application. So this is a new project, replacing a house that was burned in the 1990s. The intent of the project is to build, it's basically a studio house with an Arizona room on the front. The inside of it is actually a double height space. It's pretty, I think it's kind of cool. That's what the client wanted. But from the exterior, the intent was really to try as hard as we could to fit within the local miners' cabin vernacular, architectural vernacular of, the Arizona room and the teardrop siding and the hipped roofs, so or gabled roofs. So that's our intent. There are a couple deviations. We have a skylight at the top of the roof that has kind of a shading element. But other than that, it's I think from the exterior, the intent was a really pretty straightforward miner's shack. And the style of windows we want to go with are double hung 4-light window. We don't have a brand yet picked out, but we have shown them in the drawings, and we intend to go that direction. The owner hasn't said anything to change those. So other than that, yeah, that's about it for the project.
Yeah, it looks very clean, Ben. Nice lines on it. The porch is typical of what you see around here. On High Road, there's a house that has a porch very similar to that. And it backs up against the cliff there, so yeah, I think it looks good. The teardrop siding will make it blend in well. Any comments, questions for Ben?
I have multiple comments, but none of them really relevant. I was impressed by the design and I like it a lot. I just, access, is it only up from okay up the stairway?
Yeah, it's going to be a headache. So it's
Yeah.
up, it's like
That's
up
not
100.
that's a DRB
steps.
problem.
Yeah. There is a trail that I think his name is Robert Head. I could be getting his first name wrong. That lives at the top of those stairs. He made a trail that goes horizontal. So we're going to be able to get our construction material horizontal over to the site. And we're actually using what's called SIPS construction, which is basically prefabricated 2x4 or 2x6s with foam. And basically, the wall panels are already pre-built in a factory and brought to site, and they kind of screw together. And then after that, we put the teardrop siding on. And that'll help because they're super lightweight, and it just reduces the amount that people have to, basically everything that goes up there either has to go by hand or on donkey. So, yeah.
I mean, the SIPS panel are lightweight, but nonetheless, they have a substantial weight because they're fairly large. Do
Yeah.
you have to crane them, or can they be manhandled?
We're going to have to order them so that they're no heavier or bigger than what 2 people can carry.
Okay.
So
Interesting. Yeah.
yeah.
And what you give them, you'll give the manufacturer the CAD drawings, and they'll make the panels accordingly.
Yeah.
All right, any other comments, questions for Ben? If not, I'd entertain a motion on this item number 2.
Frank, I
Yes.
just want to jump in because Ben, did you also need a variance on the setbacks for this?
Actually, Joe Ward is in the midst of working on an amendment that, and I'm just going off of what he told me, that if a lot had a house already there, you can basically have those setbacks grandfathered in to that lot. So a lot like this, basically we've got the standard Cochise County setbacks, which is like 15 feet from the front, 5 feet from the sides, and 20 feet in the backyard. So the front would be the stairway. So we'd have to be 15 feet from the front of that, which means it would be halfway through the lot practically. And we couldn't even fit a house on there, on the lot. So we'd have to use the grandfathered in. So it's either we go in front of planning and zoning and get a variance, or maybe this new code planning and zoning was already working on before this project came around gets accepted. And I think I haven't asked Joe what the process is, so we're waiting on that. But if that doesn't go through, we would have to go in front of planning and zoning to get a variance as to how the house is sat on the property. And it's one of the tightest lots I've ever dealt with, where, you know, back in the 1900s, they jackhammered out a very specific pad for the house. So, you know, without jackhammering out a whole bunch, you can't go anywhere else except for exactly where the house is. We've got maybe like 5 feet to play with in any particular direction. So, and with setbacks being at 20 feet, you know, there's not much choice. So,
Does that answer your question, Teresa? Teresa? I can't hear her, but I would,
Right, I don't know, but in the historic district? Oh, no.
Yeah, sorry,
can
your
you hear me
line was
now?
breaking. Yeah,
Yeah.
your line was breaking up.
Can you say that again, Teresa?
Am I there now?
Yes.
Well, I don't have my book with me, but my understanding that Design Review Board could allow for the variances in the historic district, that it wouldn't need to go to Planning Commission. And
Then-
if you recall, we did the variance for that garage.
Yes, we did.
Teresa,
Well,
I think.
Yeah, so it
correct.
might be easier just to include it in the motion.
Yeah.
Okay,
Sure.
okay, thanks, Sean.
Let's
I
do that.
believe I've read the same thing, that the DRB can give a variance.
Yes. Sean, would you like to make a motion?
Sure, I'd like to make a motion, application number 20-58, with the approval of the variance for the current footprint and plan of the house as is.
Do I have a second?
I'd second that.
Motion's been made and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
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 Motion's
Aye.
passed. You're good to go, Ben.
Cool, thanks. I didn't know that about the setbacks. That's,
Yeah, I think we've done that in the past.
keep that. Yeah,
We've
I think
done
we
that
have.
garage.
I just didn't want to presume anything, so.
That's always wise.
Thank you Teresa, for that.
All right, we'll move on to agenda item 3, application 20-60, Bisbee Residential Historic District, non-contributing property located at 145, number 145, located at 43 Tembe. Applicant Jeff Richardson and Laura Richardson. You want to speak to that?
Yeah, we would just like to replace an existing window.
Yeah.
Right now, it doesn't open. I mean, it opens, but it doesn't stay open. So we just like to replace it with a single hung vinyl Pella. And same size, everything, just replace it.
Okay. Any questions for Laura about that?
Yeah, I'm usually kind of a stickler with the old wood windows. Have you guys tried opening up on the interior? There's the frame.
It's not a wood window. It's already been a replacement that came when we bought the house. So it's a metal window. And actually the single hung, I think, will look more historic than what's there now.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I usually go and check out these window ones, and I didn't have time this time. So.
I have a question for you. I was there yesterday and I noticed the style of windows on the whole house. And all the windows on the house have the single grid line down the center of the window. And I was wondering if it would be possible, especially with a Pella window, instead of doing the four square grid, if we just ran that vertical line down the center on the top part of the window, I think aesthetically it would look better with what's currently existing and really blend in well.
The window that we were going to put in was not going to have any grids on it.
Right, that's what it said in the application. I saw
I'm
that.
sorry, I was thrown off by the pictures in the packet then.
Yeah.
Yeah, the pictures in the packet show grills in there, mullions.
Moyens, yeah.
So yeah, I guess I've got one right here. So that's the single muntin down the middle, which is a classic Bisbee detail, which the front of your house has, at least the top floor, has a whole bunch of them on there. So I think Sean wanted to see if you could match those muntins.
The way that, I mean, we live in Tucson. I don't believe any of our windows have a grid on them.
It's not a grid. You have a
The line that goes through it, it's just plain glass.
Yeah, you've got your, basically what it does is on all your windows on your house, you have your square of your window, and then you have a mullion coming down the center of all of your windows on your home.
No, they're just glass.
Is this the correct,
No, they're like,
is your house correct?
Yes,
Is it the Crooked Tooth, the house that has the Crooked Tooth plaque at the door?
yes.
Yeah, so I'm on the right house. Okay, fabulous property, by the way. Really fabulous property. So I think what they're talking about, am I correct? Are you replacing, is it the window by the railing
Yes.
here off the front
Yeah.
porch? You're replacing, if I can just kind of show everybody this window, correct?
Yes.
This one? Okay, so then what we're talking about, I think, is that the nearby windows look like this with the
Oh, I
four
see.
light that.
Yes.
So, and then your application images are a little bit different. So I think what we're asking is if, can you maintain, and correct me if I'm wrong, everybody, but can you maintain a look more like this with your
Correct.
window selection?
Correct.
I'm not even sure. I think that that's like a glare. I'm not trying to be difficult, but I think that the line that you're seeing in that is not really one of what you're talking about. They're just plain double hung windows.
When
Yeah, that's not
when I look at the DRB
That's the
packet,
curtain,
that was,
No,
actually.
there's-
That's the meeting.
when I look at the DRB packet that was submitted, and if I put this up right here, it's really hard to see in this picture, but all of the windows have a and I don't know how to pronounce
Muntin,
it,
yeah.
muntin down the center of the single pane of glass. There's a muntin running right down the center of all of those.
Right, I think that picture that Yvette showed it well. It's just a divider in the window. You got a top and bottom window, and there's a divider in the middle of that window. And if it would be, and your other windows have that, so it'd be great if you could replicate that in the new window.
Yeah, that's not a reflection.
No,
What
No,
about is?
Yeah,
That's where the
Laura?
curtains actually meet. Jeff, tell
Yeah,
them.
that's where the curtains meet. All the windows are double hung, and they're just.
Oh, I see what you're saying. That's
Yeah.
where the curtains meet.
We have a whole bank of windows. There's like 4 on the top, and if you could see those, there are
Okay,
no.
I see what you're saying. So it's a
Yeah.
shadow where the curtains meet.
Yeah,
Yes.
It's not a piece of wood there.
No.
no, not on
Okay,
any of them.
okay.
Oh,
What we want to do is it's actually going to match it
No.
much better than the
Yeah.
existing window.
All right. So did everybody understand that?
yes, I think
That's
so.
with the shadow line where the curtains come together. Although, yeah, from the picture, you'd think there was a piece of wood there, but apparently not. So, any other questions for them? I think if you put like by like, then it will work for us. Any other comments?
Yeah, I'm just looking on Google Earth real quick. One moment. Not to be difficult or anything. I want to see it without any reflections from a different view. Yeah, there's definitely muntins in the middle of the.
No,
Yeah.
see, that's where the curtains come together.
Yeah,
No,
so
but-
we can see on the Google Earth, all of these windows have muntins that are
Oh, up
clearly
top.
shown. And in this case, this is an older picture from maybe 2016, and they're painted white. In the application, they're now painted black. So yeah, Yvette was totally right. And I do live right down this, like a football's
Those are
throw
not-
away.
Those are
This
not
is a-
the windows.
This is the same house, right?
It is the same house, but those are not the windows that are there now. We bought the house in 2017.
Yeah.
17.
They're just the original windows that are there, the original wood windows. I've redone every one of them by hand. This is weird.
So,
Well,
is it possible we need to table it and actually physically
I would say as long as it's
look at it, or just confirm that they're able to match the existing?
yeah, as long as you match the existing, I think that should be acceptable.
Okay.
Yes.
Is Ben walking there?
I guess,
Okay.
not a mission.
All right.
Not raining.
Keep hill there, Ben.
I missed all of that. I would.
You're breaking up a little bit, Sean. I don't think we can hear you. There we go.
Can you guys hear me now?
Perfect.
Okay,
Yeah.
I lost about the last 2 minutes of that. I couldn't hear anybody.
Okay.
You didn't miss very
Well,
much.
what I was
Okay.
suggesting is windows replaced that look like the ones already existing, that should work for us. I mean,
Correct.
unless,
Yeah.
I hate to table, it's just one window. I guess Ben's over there now.
So, and the window, the picture of the window in the application where I see the word free on it, that is not the window that you're installing, or it is the window that you're installing?
I'm sorry, what did you say about the application?
You had said the picture in the application is not really what you're purchasing. And I'm looking at something in the application that has a sticker on it that says free in-home installation. So I'm wondering if that's actually the window that you're planning on installing, or is it not? I
The
wasn't
window
clear on that.
we're planning on installing is on the left-hand side of the papers that I sent you. It's the single hung window. Do you see it on the left-hand side?
Well, in the application, it looks like you have a picture of windows from the store, correct? So I'm looking at page, right after we see the design review board worksheet, there's an image of a window that looks like it's been taken when you were at the store.
Yes.
Okay, so
The one
is that the
we-
window that you're aiming to install?
Yes, but the one that we're aiming to install has no grid.
This exact window, but without the grid?
Yes.
Okay, that's what I wasn't really very clear on.
So I mean, I'm at the house now. So
Yes,
is that the window that's being replaced?
that's the one.
Okay, because this is the only window that's not historic and is kind of just a metal single hung window. All the other ones are these beautiful, wood windows with the center muntin. So like this window here, I've got absolutely no objection to changing out. So
Ben, is it acceptable for them to install the one that's in their application, but without any grid lines at all? Is the question, I think.
I agree with Sean to try and get one with a center muntin to match like that green one that's right above me. If that's what we would make any other applicant do if in this case, I think. But yeah, right now the window they want to replace does not match any of the historic ones.
Right.
So by replacing it with a new window with the center muntin, we'll kind of bring everything together, and I think we'll
So Laura,
make it look.
do you see that, what we're talking about? It looks,
Yes.
so if you could get windows to match your existing windows, that would be great. So,
But
Okay.
taking out that aluminum window, I'd have no objection to, because not losing any historic value.
No, one of the things that I noticed about this house in particular was it was one of the ones in the community that had windows of the same type all the way throughout the house. And so when you have that one window that's not like the rest, it just doesn't, it didn't aesthetically blend, where I was coming from.
Yeah, I agree.
So as it stands, so Laura, if you folks could match the windows to the existing ones, I think we could move forward with this. So is that all? Are you okay with trying to do that?
Yeah, I'm okay with trying to do that. Does that mean we have to come back again to the board or?
No.
No.
Okay,
No problem. We'll get it done.
So
okay.
I guess we'll wait till Ben gets back and we'll have somebody can make a motion. Hey, he's back.
Back.
Lovely thing about Old Bisbee, everything's walking.
Everything's close.
To be a DRB first.
That's what they call it.
All right. Ben, would you like to make a motion?
Sure. Let me find the page that. Actually, you know, this we don't have. Oh, there it is. Is it? Yeah, it's 2060. So I'd like to make a motion to accept application number 2060 with the caveat that the window that is replaced is the aluminum window and replaced with a double or single hung 4-light window to match. That's 2 glass panels on the top, 2 glass panels on the bottom with a center muntin to match all the historic windows around it.
And I'll second the motion.
All right. The motion's been made and seconded. All in favor? Say aye.
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 All right, Laura, you're good to go.
Thank you, guys.
Okay, you're welcome. All right, we'll move on to agenda item number 4, 20-61. Bisbee Residential Historic District, non-contributing property, number 644, located at 250 C Brewery Avenue. Ben,
It's me again, recusing myself again. Thank you. This project is basically kind of an emergency re-roofing project. Construction hasn't started yet, but the owner has a tarp on the roof, and it's one of these kind of beautiful hippie houses that was built in the 70s, early 70s, and has been added on to again and again and again over the years. So what we need to do is fix this leaky gutter situation and another roof situation. That basically we extend a portion of the roof. I don't know if you guys can see me, but we extend a portion of the roof on page A2 of the PDF. The bottom left, there's a little portion of roof that we're kind of extending. It's like that, and then also at the top of the roof on the second floor, there's a butterfly roof like this, and we're just fixing the gutter, and you won't even tell. So on the bottom left, the part I was going like this at, this little wedge, we are replacing 2 doors because that used to be like a little patio. We're replacing these 2 doors with windows so that we can add in this little portion of roof. And that's why this project is in front of you on the DRB, because we're replacing doors with windows. And we have not picked out the windows yet, but we have drawn what we're proposing in the elevations, which are shown on page A2, and that is drawing. Let's see here. Sorry. Drawing number 2 in drawing number 4 on page A2. Shows the two windows that are replacing what used to be doors.
Okay.
And we're gonna, on that portion of roof that we're extending, we plan on using corrugated metal to match the rest of the house.
That's good. Any questions for Ben?
It's just a really interesting property, Ben, and it looks like it's gonna keep you busy for a really long time. So many
Yeah,
fun things to do here.
it's a funky house for sure.
I think
It
whatever
definitely has its own style.
Mhm.
I think the end result will be great. I think it's going to be awesome to see it repaired and improved.
All right, someone like to make a motion?
Sure. Make a motion to approve DRB application number 20-61 as is.
I'd second that. Motion's been made and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passed. All right, we'll move on to application, agenda item number 5, application 20-63, Bisbee Residential Historic District contributing property number 917 located at 514 and a half Tombstone Canyon. This application is seeking to cover existing metal roofing with new panels to include ridge cap and valleys. Garcia, are you here? Would you folks like to tell us a little more about it?
Yes, that was the project to cover existing corrugated metal. It's not, the material is not a corrugated. It's a recycled cellulose fiber material.
Right.
So I believe you have the
Yes.
information. What I wanted to do is just to cover the existing. Currently, I don't have any issues with the roof as far as leaks or anything like that, but it is a very old. I've had property for about 15 years, and it was old then. So I tried to do this as a preventive measure and still use what I think is probably a better quality than the metal because it doesn't rust, light heat. It's also rot or become brittle. So what I'm hoping for, and not have to take old roofing just to be able to cover it and protect it and still stay within the corrugated.
Right.
Current.
Anybody got comments about that?
I have a question. I'm just wondering if this has been utilized before in historic Bisbee and if anybody has familiarity with the product.
I'm on the same path as Yvette. I was out at the property yesterday, and when I was surveying the area, I was paying attention to the different type of roofing materials that were used, and pretty much it's either metal or the 3-tab fiberglass shingles. And one of the things that I did when I got back last night is I pulled the Drb Guidelines, that we pull all of our information from. And I noticed that only allowable roofing materials are metal or the 3-tab fiberglass shingles or corrugated metal roofs. So I come from a point where I have no problem with the roof being replaced, but I would like to see it with either metal or fiberglass shingle as it's done, as is in this area. So it would blend in with the other homes and stay historically correct.
Well, this onion is a newer product. I have had some experience with it back. Does sort of look like corrugated metal. Of course, it isn't, but
the look is really cool. I mean, and it even comes in the
right.
Actually a beautiful. I wish that in it because just looking at it, you would never know that it's not corrugated. I mean, that it's, and from what I understand, the quality and would never be, I think, an ideal product to keep with the look.
And I preface what I say this for purpose of this, in my opinion, based on the guidelines that the DRB has, and also with in the material itself in different applications, I would say that it would meet standards that we generally approve. And that's my sole opinion, and I would prefer to see metal or steel, which is in keeping with the historic style of the.
I have a question. Do you know, I've been looking through the PDF and I can't seem to figure out what the corrugation like width is. Is it the same as regular corrugated metal, where each corrugation is
It says
essentially
90,
3 inches?
it says 99 millimeters.
95
Oh, I have a converter here. Let me.
95 millimeters, and it's 38 millimeters high.
So that's I think standard corrugation is like 3 inches or 2.75 inches per corrugation. This is 3.7, so the corrugations are a little bit bigger, but it's not like triple or double the size of the corrugation. It's like 30% bigger waves, which to me is not visibly that much of a difference. Compared to regular corrugation, it's just like 30% difference. I would say I'm a little bit wary of the product just as an architect as far as durability, because asphalt-based materials just don't last very long here compared to corrugated metal, which if it's galvanized will last 60 or 70 years, versus this bitumen-based product, which might have a lifespan of 20 or 30 years in the sun. So but that's not really a design
No,
issue. So
I would find that this product, I would think it's very similar to corrugated metal. I understand what you're saying, Sean, and you're right technically about it. And, you know, with new products come on the market, we probably need to look at them and update our what's acceptable. But I think a lot of it is visual. You know, it's the aesthetic sense. And this product seems to come very close to what metal looks like. You know,
I agree.
Do I understand it's applied over top of the existing metal? You
Yes.
don't strip the metal off.
Yeah, so that's what they're trying to do, is go over the old metal.
I did
But if it doesn't meet the profile, it can be kind of, there'll be a gap.
Yeah, I was just going to say, you're not going to get an even display of
No.
what you're displaying, because as you just pointed out, you've got 2.75 inches on the normal, and this one's going over 3. You're not going to get an even lay on your material over what's
It is actually meant and designed to go over existing old metal, even if it's smaller underneath, because you actually have a material that fits into the gaps on the outside perimeter. It's like so there is a material that fills in those gaps. It is designed to go over old material, to go over asphalt, and definitely that's how they advertised it. And that's what gave me the idea to do it. It was a specific design for that.
Do I take it it's a lot less expensive than replacing metal.
A little, yeah, no, but not extremely, but it's a good product.
And have you considered putting a coating on the existing metal?
Have I what?
Have you considered putting a coating on the existing metal? No, we're painting it, but with a suitable product. It's that bad.
Well, I suppose the metal roof is very old. It was old when I purchased the property 15 years ago, and it needed a new roof. But I had other priorities. But I know that it's getting to the point where it's so old that I'm trying to prevent problems.
Uh-huh.
And
Yeah, well, what I think Peter is saying would prevent future leaks, and I think there's a couple products out there that are they're a fabric, and then you put a latex or a latex based paint over it, white paint, and it glues that fabric on there. And basically, any holes or pinholes or creases or weak points are structurally held together almost like fiberglass. And that's something they do a lot in Old Bisbee.
yeah, there's different core this metal. It may have, changed over the years. There's different, and that's why I like this particular one, because it can go over metal. And it's uniform. Then right now the roof is not uniform. There's different corrugation sizes, and so I want to really update it. The house is beautiful. I would like to keep that look, even corrugated. It's a good quality product. It stands 120 hour. I've done a lot of research. It's a product. Even if this was other people may use, like you mentioned, maybe this needs to be an updated product.
Well,
because it is a good product. It's beautiful.
what's tough is, we have a historical preservation guideline because we are a historical community, and these guidelines are on the materials that were used at that time. One of the things we grapple with all the time is new products. And for me, and this is, like I said, just my opinion, when you look at that product and you put it next to metal, or you put it next to asphalt, or you put it next to an asphalt shingle, it does not resemble that historic nature that we all come to know. That's the issue that I'm grappling with on this. It's not a replacement of the roof. It's just the type of material that's being used, and that's all.
The thing that I'm with Sean. The fact is, corrugated metal roofs are great roofs. They just are. It's a great product. Not like the asphalt is well, I don't know enough about it. I doubt that the asphalt roof is a better roof long term than the metal. So it's not prohibitive to enforce and going along with what Sean is saying to stickler for the it would be very interesting to know what the cost comparisons are, but for departing from, well, in my opinion, and probably Ben can speak to this as an expert, that corrugated metal roof is really great roof.
Yeah, you can't beat corrugated metal, but from a design standpoint, I think it's this product is fairly similar.
Yeah, that's my feeling about it. It looks like corrugated metal. It's not the traditional material that's been used here, but I doubt that asphalt shingles were traditional. There was stakes. You had metal. So, there's been some changes over time. I think the visual is what's important.
Yeah, because asphalt was never a product they used, and at least this has the foundation.
What are you showing us there, Ben?
So this is their website, Underline Systems. And actually, I think, sorry, can you guys see that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Richie's house below me has actually this exact same roofing. I can go outside and show you guys.
It's been around. You know, I've used it back east before.
Yeah. The corrugations are quite a bit bigger. Let me just show you because Richie's house, the part that he's taking off, second time going out, kind of side today. Hilarious, but yeah, this is the exact same roofing. So we can see the two roofing materials next to each other. That's the underline on the red, and then that's the corrugated on the right. So can you guys see that?
Yeah.
Yes. And, when we were out at the agenda item 1 yesterday, I looked closely at that roof, and my big question was, one, how did that material ever get used and put through the DRB in the past? Just because it did not look anything remotely like a historical material, a historical application. And I might be, you know, being too hard on the issue, but I also think that we're also faced with an issue here. If we open this door, we're going to be headed down a path where this is going to be a standard material used.
I don't think this was permitted before, so I don't think that was a permitted roofing job. Because there's some details on there that would not pass inspection for sure. So I don't know. Now that I see like from their website and see like what it actually looks like, I kind of agree more with Sean that it actually doesn't really fit that well. I wouldn't object if it was a brand new house or a 1970s house, but because this is a historic house, I think it's a little different.
I also agree with Sean that we're getting into, if it's not been used typically, and this is something new that's starting to come about, then it is setting maybe a precedence if it's allowed to be used. So maybe it needs some more consideration.
And Leticia, I just want to say, you guys have an absolutely beautiful historical home. And I absolutely loved going to the property yesterday and looking at it. I just want to make sure that we continue to see that beauty grow. That's where I'm coming from.
So I guess, would you consider pricing a corrugated metal roof versus this product, Leticia?
So were you saying you want it to be comparable in cost, or what?
Well, just to see if it's possible. Yeah.
Well, the product, when I went online, was about $28 a sheet. But I was able to find it on sale at Home Depot for $20 a sheet. So it brought cost. Not that it's a bad product, but I was, you know, like anything, I'm doing a lot to this property. So, you know, I have to consider costs too. And always have taken really good care of this property. So I thought, you know, it just kind of fit in line with what I could afford, and also the look. Aesthetically, it's beautiful. And I've been, you know, I've always used quality on this property. So, you know, that's how I looked at it.
Right.
One thing
Go ahead, Ben.
Sorry, go. Yeah, outside of Home Depot, there are a lot of, I think even locally, roofing panel manufacturers that make corrugated metal in different colors. So if you really like that dark red color, or you want like a copper color, you can get corrugated metal that's historically a lot more accurate, that is any color that you like. And the nice thing about those materials, those corrugated metal materials, they're both galvanized and they're powder coat painted on top of that. So you actually have two layers protecting, and that's what my roof is. It's galvanized, but then there's a layer of paint, and that layer of paint can be a lot of different colors. And the price is comparable to this product. In fact, this product might be actually a little bit more expensive. But that's just my experience with the corrugated metal. You can get, there's probably like 6 or 7 different colors that you can get if you go to a roofing supply company, and you don't have to be a contractor to purchase those materials either.
I think in the long run, you'll be happier with a metal roof rather than this product. Yeah, because we know the longevity of the metal, and if the costs are comparable, I'd recommend the metal for sure.
So can we table this until the next meeting and give you guys the opportunity to shop the market and look at some different materials instead of having to make it today, and we can revisit and kind of come to a happy medium and proceed forward then.
Procedurally, if Letitia is just replacing a metal roof with a metal roof, it wouldn't need to go through the DRB anyway.
Right.
Correct?
That's a good point. That's like with like, and that's probably why it was brought in front of us, because it's not like for like, and that's what Joe Ward or Teresa realized.
Are you saying that I look at the board to?
What's that?
Are you saying that I have to go through the board to put the roof on?
If it's corrugated metal that matches exactly, or it's even if it's a different color, you wouldn't have to. The reason that you were put in front of us is because this product is different from a design standpoint. And that's why Teresa or Joe Ward pointed you in our direction. So
Remember showing. I didn't think that you would be aware.
You were breaking up. I didn't catch all that.
Can you repeat that, please?
I just didn't know that I even presented this in the beginning. I was just told I needed to go and, make a packet and bring it. So.
Yes, that's correct, because the material you were using. What we're saying, if you go with a corrugated metal roof, which is what you have there now, you would not need permission from the design review board to replace it. So if you guys opt to do that, you won't, so what we're talking about now is perhaps tabling this, but if you're going to go with a metal roof, you won't need to come back to the DRB.
What do you mean by tabling it?
Well, that means that we would resume conversation with you next month about the materials that you're going to use. But if you're going to use a corrugated metal roof, that wouldn't be necessary.
Okay.
So I guess basically
we're
what
asking.
we're recommending is that you use a corrugated metal roof.
Okay.
And it should be cost comparable.
Okay.
So I guess we'll just not take any action on this Or we could table it. I don't know. What do you think, Teresa?
I think you should just go ahead and deny it
Okay,
because they can move forward without it.
there you go. So we're going to turn your request down, but you could go ahead and use the corrugated metal roof. You won't have to come back before the design review board if you do that.
I prefer that.
Okay, great.
Okay.
All right, thank
Thanks.
Should we technically make, Frank, should we make a motion?
you. No,
Yeah.
yes, let's make a motion.
I'll make a motion for DRB number 20-63 to deny.
Second?
I'll second that.
Okay, Ben second that. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay, we're good, folks. Thank you.
Okay.
I guess we could have also accepted it with the provision that they do corrugated metal, but it's the same.
It just complicates it, I think.
Yeah.
All right,
yeah.
let's move on to item number 6, application 2064, Bisbee Residential Historic District, non-contributing property located at 24 Tembe. Tom, are you going to speak to us about this? Tom Slusher, are you there?
Oh,
You're
he's
on-
muted. Tom,
You're
you're
on
muted.
mute, Tom. If you can hear me, turn your mic on.
I was gonna say, can I unmute him?
I wish. I don't.
There he is.
All right. Hey, Tom.
Hey, how are you doing?
Good. So we're waiting to hear from you. Tell us a little about this project.
Okay, can I just have 30 seconds of your time real quick?
Sure.
Is that 10 Clausen, we did a house maybe 10 years ago there, and we used the asphalt shingle or the asphalt panels.
Uh-huh.
It was approved by the design review board, and it's got a lifetime warranty on it, and you can get it with any color you want. They'll specifically do any color you want. So I'm just throwing that out there for whenever you guys make a decision. But the design review board's already approved it at least once in the city.
Yeah, that happens often.
Well, I'm just saying.
It's also, just to make a point on that, sometimes it has to do with whether it was approved on a historic house or not. And you would know if it was historic or not. Sometimes if it's not historic, it's not as much of an issue. But like this house that you're presenting now is not historic, right? Or maybe it is, I don't know.
No, yes. So basically, we're looking at just adding a parking. One of the things that
Contributing.
Pardon me?
Go ahead, Tom.
One of the things that went into, didn't go into the application was we're just going to do a stucco finish on it, on the C2 block. And then that porch that they had that they were using as a solar room or something, I'm not sure what, basically just turn that into a porch.
Take the paneling off it.
Take the plastic off of it, yes, and the doggy door so that the dog can jump 20 feet, yes.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a trick.
Hey, Tom, I got a quick question for you.
Yes.
The parking area that you're going to be doing, is it going to be going right over that I-beam that's currently there? Is that like going to be the edge of it?
No, it's going to go out probably another 45 feet farther out.
I'm sorry, what's that?
It's going to go 45 feet closer to the house than the I.
Okay, so 4 to 5 feet from the I-beam to the house.
Other roadway.
Could you repeat that? You were breaking.
Otherwise, the car sticking out into the road, so we had to go in another 4 feet than the I-beam.
Okay, and then my other question is going to the edge of the stairs that are going down?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that retaining wall, is that going under the I-beam or where is the retaining wall going? I didn't quite understand.
The retaining wall is going to go in front of the torch south side, basically gonna the left and then upstairs.
Did anybody else catch that? Because I was picking up on mine.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, your internet connection's breaking up or something.
Let me see if I can put any closer. Is this any better?
That's
Yes,
better.
way better.
Okay.
Can you repeat the retaining wall explanation?
You will not see any of the I-beams. The retaining wall will go 4 to 5 feet closer to the house and run up the side of the stairs.
Okay, so got it. So it's basically gonna circumference the parking area that you're gonna build.
Correct.
Okay.
So Tom, can you give, I'm really confused about how the parking's gonna work. Can you give me a description of how you see a car pulling in? Does the nose of the car face the house? Does the nose of the car face, I guess, south? What's happening with the railings? There are some red, it looks like city railing, pipe and railing that's there. Is that going to be removed? I just can't quite picture how and where this, how it's all coming together, and if the stairs are staying or they're being removed.
Well, the railing is being removed. And we've talked to Jesus, and we're going through the process with permitting and a right-of-way access to that area. The car will be coming, you'll be kind of on a slight angle, and if you happen to know, it'll kind of go towards the street. The street curves up, and you'll back up in. It won't go.
So the back of the car would be kind of where the stairs are now.
Kind of. Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so the car would be parked parallel with the house.
Pretty much, yes, yes.
Okay.
Okay, and that's good. You're already working with the city regarding those railings. I was wondering how those fit into the situation.
Yep.
Okay.
Any other questions?
And so I guess structurally speaking, part of the deck that the cars will be on is cantilevered over the I-beam?
When this was engineered, the I-beam had nothing to do with the engineering part of it. It's just going to be the retaining wall. There's going to be a large underneath it, and that's just going to come around. Does that answer?
So the I-beam is not part of the structure that'll get removed or something, or?
It's part of the structure. We're just going to bury it when we backfill. It'll be underneath that and underneath the concrete for the driveway. Yeah.
Okay. If you need dirt, I have lots of dirt to give you, and I'm right up the street.
Okay. I'll take it.
All right, would someone like to make a motion?
Sure, I'll make a motion to approve DRB application number 20-64 as is.
I'll second that.
All right, motion's been made and seconded. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Tom, you're good to go.
Hey, thank you. Have a great night, everyone.
All right, you too. All right, we're going to move on to agenda item 7, discussion regarding the green windscreens at St. Patrick's Church.
Hey, Frank?
Yes.
It's me, Leslie.
Yes, Leslie.
I noticed that since the meeting started, we got an email on this agenda item. Is it possible for us to read that?
I think what it was some pictures that John put up. John, do you have those printed out?
What's that?
Leslie's talking about the email that you had sent around, and it had pictures of the screen.
Oh, no.
No?
That's not the one I'm talking about,
Okay.
Frank. Since the
Oh.
meeting started, we got an email from a constituent who lives across the street from the
Okay.
Greenscreens.
All right.
So
Oh, wow.
I just
Okay.
wondered if we,
Yeah, if we could.
Okay.
Yeah.
It says to design review board, city manager, mayor, ET, all. The placement of the windscreens at St. Patrick's Catholic Church and subsequent ignoring of the city's orders to remove them is nothing short of disrespect to the entire community of Bisbee. The windscreen blocks Tombstone Canyon views of the most iconic buildings in Bisbee, literally national treasures. The screens are intrusive, sweep all around from all directions. The screens have become a divisive problem in the community, have and could have been resolved months ago without escalation. Instead, Cynthia Conroy and St. Patrick's have blatantly ignored direct orders from the city to remove the windscreens from church basketball court fencing. I worked for the State Historic Preservation Office and received a Master's in Historic Preservation from Arizona State University. During my employment at SHPO, I assisted certified local governments, including Bisbee, Arizona, in developing guidelines. These windscreens are clearly in violation. I already know I'm going to be inundated with sounds of pickleball echoing across my home, and I'm okay with that. The original purpose of the space is a court. I purchased my home knowing the sports might be played across the street from my home. I even had interest in pickleball at one point. That has since changed. I have to pay a fee and get approval for something on my property. Why doesn't CC and or St. Patrick? Am I allowed to hang a windscreen that the church vote find offensive? Since there's no enforcement for St. Patrick's, will I get equal treatment under the law? In my frustration, I have conjured up plenty of ideas, funny, some offensive, or flags or banners that I can apply to just as disrespectful as CP St. Patrick's. However, I don't want to be disrespectful. I just want them to not be disrespectful. I want them to be good neighbors, which they are not. Why won't the city take action, levy fines, etc.? Why are fees not being charged? But I have to pay the fees to get approval. Will I be getting a refund for the fee I paid? I am not against the pickleball. I am not against the CC receiving money from Vogue for the windows. What I am against is the lack of respect for the entire community and the failure to follow and enforce the law. This was placed September 2019. It is now August 2020, almost a full year, and not one game played. Thank you, Sandra Mitchell, or I'm pretty sure how you say it.
Michelle?
Michelle?
Yeah.
Okay, well, thanks for reading that.
Thank you, Sean.
You're very welcome.
I think we kind of agree with her.
I think we agree, and I took pictures and had Nina forward them to everybody this morning because I wanted us to have something substantial to base a discussion off of after we got the letter and you know, when I went back to the Drb guidelines today, there's two violations at St. Patrick's Church, and one of them is the fencing. Chain link is not an authorized use. It's not an authorized fence in accordance with the guidelines. In some applications, it can be applicable, and it expresses that it's typically in the rear of a home and requires approval. Plastic fencing is not authorized as well. That's in there as well. The other thing is I included a picture across the street. I know Teresa, you did an administrative approval on that application, and that fence is not in line with the Drb guidelines as well. So I think we've got a whole little sector of problems going on here, and I think it goes to what we were talking about last week. When one does, it just continues on, and it's a domino effect, and then we're sitting here grappling with this issue. And unfortunately, the person that does a lot for the community, like been expressed in the last meeting, we're sitting here with a tough decision.
Right.
So,
See a way forward here?
I see a way forward. And it's something that the attorney Ledbetter mentioned last time in his previous letter. And it's a point that he makes about whether the screen is permanent or not. And he made a point that if the screen is removed after a game, then it would not be part of the fence. It would be a temporary thing. And so I start to think about, like shades on a window or on a movie screen that rolls up and down. If the Bisbee Vogue or whoever, St. Pat's, put a rod or a metal pipe at the top of it's now a tan colored screen that they just bought, and basically attach the top of their windscreen to a metal pipe, and that metal pipe went up and down, they could roll that thing up at the end of the game or tournament, and it wouldn't be in the view anymore. And that's I think, I don't know who came up with the idea, but it ended up in the attorney's letter from last meeting. And I've been thinking about that for the last month, and I kind of think that might be a good compromise, even though we're not meeting with them at this meeting. Maybe we're still compromising with them in some way, I don't know. But if it's in fact not part of the fence and it's removable, and they indeed remove it occasionally or roll it down, I would be totally fine with that.
I've thought about it long and hard since I got the packet and saw Mr. Ledbetter's letter, that we have two options. And one is that we can request to have them fully removed, or two, we can find a compromise. And I think in the best interest of the community, to show respect for the community after that email from Sandy and Michelle, is that I think a compromise is feasible, but it has to be adhered to, and who's going to enforce it? That's my next question, because she does point out that there hasn't been a game there in a year and the screens have been up.
Right.
Teresa, do you have any input?
Yeah, Teresa, what are you thinking?
I will do whatever you want me to do.
Well,
Can you make them come to one of these meetings? Like, is that possible?
Don't think I can do that. Make them come? I don't think so.
Well, given the situation, I think for me, my opinion at this point, my proposal is that we request to have them removed. If a compromise wants to be sought, come before the DRB and follow the process as outlined in that email that we just read. And I think that's fair.
yeah, that sounds good, Sean. Other
I
comments?
agree with that.
I just have a question. Is it possible to ticket them for having that up there?
That's what I've been wondering, because it says in the Drb guidelines that you can be fined and penalized and for violations.
Yeah, why are we holding off on that?
Teresa?
So I did send them the letter back in February asking that they were taken down. The church is taking the stand that it was presented to them that they had a sign, and the sign was the violation. And so the reply that I got was that they had taken care of the violation that they had been presented with. So I can present them with another violation.
Yeah, because doesn't it violate it because
They
it
would
blocks
then
the
have
view?
time to, yeah. Well, we would have to spell that out in this letter, letting you know this is the violation.
Okay.
Yeah,
And then they would have time to remediate that.
I think the second letter from Ledbetter actually does spell out the plastic fence violation and actually how permanently attaching it, not temporarily attaching it, is the violation. So
Yeah, let's
I
give
think
it
that
a-
letter is probably ready to send out, maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, so I can send them a letter spelling out the violations based on this assessment of the situation. And then they would effectively have 30 or 45 days, I'll check with Joe, to go ahead and remediate it.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay.
Any further discussion on this?
I think Sean's photos that he sent out do illustrate that they've changed the fencing material from green with spray paint to tan, which to me indicates that they are making some changes. However, they're not coming to the DRB as they should. And also they're still obscuring the view, and it's still a plastic fence. So
Right.
there's still 3 violations. 1, not coming to DRB. 2, it's a plastic fence. 3, it's obscuring the view of St. Pat's from the public way. So.
And Ben, just to add to that, I believe that's still only one side of the fence that's changed to tan. They're still utilizing the green,
Right.
held up with wood on the other side. So there's 2 different things going on depending on which side of the area you're looking at.
Right.
Okay.
I do think the tan looks better, but they never presented to us. So.
Yeah. No. Let's see what we can do and get those violations in.
I think there's also been, I don't know if this is new or not, there's also a mural on the back wall. I can't recall if that's always been there or something I just noticed last week. But there is a pickleball mural as well as another mural of the church painted on the back wall in there. So I'm not quite sure when that happened or if that's okay, but
Yeah.
there.
Okay, so we'll see what happens next meeting. The ongoing saga here. I'm ready to move on to agenda item 8.
Okay.
This is approval of minutes of the July 8th, 2020 meeting.
Hey, Greg.
Yes.
Hey, this is more a question for all of you, just because I'm seeking some clarification. That fence that's over by Tui's, that's across from the church in the area that we've just discussed. I understand that we can have the flat panel fencing, but isn't there a style that you're supposed to follow that the posts are exposed in between and it's done more in a historical manner? I'm asking for clarification for me and my, as we go forward, what everybody's insight is on that.
I should probably disclose that I live at that property.
Okay.
Yeah, and the fence is mostly for safety because it's very easy. We have parties over there. Hang on. Here, shush. I'm sorry, you guys. We have parties over there, and there was a problem with somebody almost fell into the ditch. And so that's kind of the main issue with that fence.
Got it. The reason I brought it up was I've had many people come to me and state that that's not a historically acceptable fence. And so I'm trying to find out for clarification what is. I mean, because, you know, we can definitely do a flat panel fence. But if you look at the guidelines, it shows, you know, there's a post in between, there's a little bit of a space, it's done more of in a historical manner and style. So I just, you know.
I would say, so I finally found that the page that has that, this is in the old guidelines, and that's this one, Sean, that you're describing. And
Right.
But if you read the text at the top, it says some examples, but it doesn't prevent somebody to come up with their own style of fence. So
Right.
I think we're, you know, it's just examples. It's not, you have to do that. And I think because it was administratively approved, I don't think there's anything we can do
Yeah.
about it.
No, and that wasn't the point. More
Oh,
was,
okay.
hey, I need some clarification from all of you because there's questions that are coming up about it.
Right, yeah, and I think I got an email from one constituent that objected to the design of that, and I looked into it, and I, you know, in reading the text, at least on this page, it only
Yeah.
lists examples, and
I was surprised to see that it was painted. And I'll drive by and see if it was the materials that she submitted.
yeah, but we
Yeah,
don't cover
I'll
paint.
make sure it was the
so.
material she submitted.
Thanks, Teresa. It's just when you get these questions, you are, you know, you're like, okay, well, how do I answer this? You know, you've got a guideline, but it doesn't look like the guideline, and some people are sticklers about the guideline and want that followed. So that was more, I was seeking clarification from all you.
From my memory, and I'm looking for the text. The only, okay, here it is on page 25 of the old guidelines. It actually lists fencing that is restricted, and it says cyclone or chain link
That's all right.
fencing will not be approved. It doesn't say anything about a wood fence that's flat with the posts cut off and then everything's flush. So, yeah, so that's really, oh yeah, and it says brightly colored plastic fences, decorative concrete blocks, which are actually now in vogue and are mid-century. So, well, we've already taken care of that issue. And actually it says wood fencing designed in contemporary styles. So I don't know if that is a contemporary style, then perhaps it actually is not acceptable. But I don't think it's really any particular style. So.
Yeah, can I just let you guys know that what she submitted was something different, and she modified it to try and meet the guidelines for Teresa's instructions. So,
Let me see though.
We cut off the
No,
dog
I told her,
fence.
yes. There were no, right, because the dog ears were the modern element to what she sent. But I did say fence as described.
Okay.
Yeah, but I did let her know that the dog ears were not acceptable.
Teresa, have we adopted, I should know the answer to this, have we adopted the new guidelines yet?
No, you guys are
I
supposed
didn't think so.
to get
We haven't
together.
till we have a full contingent again.
Yeah, and Teresa, I promise I will get my edits and additions to you hopefully by the first part of next week. And then last, I apologize for being late today. I got held up.
I think that we should continue this discussion on and put it on the agenda. Really shouldn't be going into this deeply now because it's not on the agenda. So if we want to bring it up at the next meeting and continue what you're talking about, Sean, it's fine. So let's move on to item 8, approval of the minutes from the previous meeting. Someone make a motion to approve them. I'll make a motion to approve the minutes. Second?
I'll second.
Okay. Motion's been made and seconded to approve the minutes of the July 8th, 2020 meeting. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All right. So future agenda items, we can continue to talk about that fence. If you'd like to put it on there, Sean, that'd be fine.
Sure. The fence and I guess are the DRB guideline.
I think, yeah, we can talk about that a little more. I think we're waiting to get, I'm going to be going off the board.
I know.
And we're short person already. So we need to get a full contingent here before we approve the final approval on the changes, I think. Unless we want to do otherwise, but that's what I was thinking.
Has anybody heard, is Steven doing okay or?
Yeah, he's trying to, the email I saw, he was supposed to be back here last Saturday, but having trouble getting flights. That's what he said, so he'll be back for our next meeting.
Great.
All right. Anything else?
Yeah, I'm trying to remember what the address was of that one house that was a recurring nightmare for like 2 years.
That's 805 Tombstone.
Okay.
And I think that I know the people that have bought the house next door, and they were interested in buying that place. And she told me that some lawyer from Idaho or someplace has bought that. Do you know anything about that, Teresa?
I know that a notice of violation was going out, and we are going to pursue eminent domain.
And she said that the neighbor said that she saw that somebody had bought it. So.
Oh, interesting.
So, and some.
Okay,
lawyer,
we'll look into that.
I'll say, yeah, look into that because they wanted to buy it, and get it cleaned up.
Right.
So I said I would inquire about it. So we'll see.
Can we put that on the agenda?
Yeah, we'll have an update for you. Joe is definitely going to pursue eminent domain on that at this point.
Great. Good.
Okay.
And they'll have to pay some tax, something there.
I'd like to put on the agenda something that Sean had on the agenda last time, and that's the old high school in Old Bisbee. Just an update on that status of that building. That's all.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. If there's nothing else, then make a motion to close the meeting.
I'll make a motion to.
Which building? I'm sorry.
The old.
Oh, sorry.
High school.
I guess an update from Teresa or anyone within the city staff who would know about the future of that building.
And to elaborate on that, when we concluded last time, we were under the discussion of, do we have a plan in place for public buildings that are vacated? And I remember Leslie bringing up the old hospital in Warren as well.
Hillcrest.
Hillcrest, yes.
Yeah, I do have an update. I may just send you guys emails on that. An email with that information.
Yeah, that'd be great. All right. All in favor? Adjournment? Aye.
Aye.
All right. See you folks next month.
Good night, everybody.
Thanks.
Bye.
See you.
Congrats.
Bye, guys.
Thanks.
Stay safe.
Yep.
Okay. Bye.